Hello everyone, and welcome to our scope making session. And today I would like to show you my favorite vegan scone recipe with the two variations. One is traditional with we call the raisins, and the other one will be blueberry and rosemary. So let's get started with our first traditional scone making. That I have divided the recipe that you received into two parts. So we're just going to be using half of that. One half for raisin, the other half for blueberry and rosemary. Okay, let's get started. And first of all, you have to set your oven to 425 Fahrenheit or 220 Celsius, and then preheat because you don't want to have your beautiful scone made and then going there that the oven is cold. Especially we're making vegan scone. Timing is very important. Okay, I'm gonna put on my gloves, and here's my bowl. First of all, you have to make a little bit interesting stuff that normally you will buy buttermilk from the supermarket. But today we're going to make our own vegan buttermilk. That all you need is your plant-based dairy milk, which I have over here is soy milk. And put 2 teaspoons of organic apple cider to it. And then wait for 5 minutes. That will turn into a beautiful thickened milk, which I have one that pre-made that I would like to show you. And what you need to do is use a little bit fork. Use a fork and just stir a little bit. And here we have this thickened buttermilk-like of a consistency in this jar, which will milk use later. Okay, now we need 2 cups of flour. Now see what I'm doing over here? I have my fork here. When you measure your flour, you don't want to pack the flour. So you're going to fluff your flour bowl a little bit. And then measure for 2 cups. Gently level it. Put in your bowl. Traditionally, if you don't have a food processor, you can use your fingers to do the next step, which will be flour, and this is our oil. This is coconut oil. See where it is? Okay. Coconut oil is used because it represents the solid oil part that we need to make this flaky taste of our scone. Then we will have sugar, salt, and our baking powder. Okay, now here I'm going to give a little stir of my dry ingredient. Then I will use my fingers to start to rub in my fat, my oil, not my fat. You could do this, but it will take it for a while. And if you have a food processor, this is what I'm going to show you. It works such a magic. Okay, here we go. Here's our food processor. Let's put this in the food processor and then close the lid. We give it a little bit, a few pause. I need to get this thing. Okay, pause a little bit. If I can plug it in, and I think that will help. No, doesn't it? Okay, here we go. Now we're all set to go. So pause 5 times. 3, 4. Oh, 4. Now you start to see this steady texture. 7 times. Okay, now we're ready to go. I want to show you what the texture is like. Okay. You can see a little bit sandy kind of a thing, just like the beautiful beach. Okay, now I'm going to dump into my bowl. And it's all dumped in there. Here are the 2 cups of flour with my coconut oil, and that's the base. And you can see this beautiful, a little bit colored, gently light colored, this basic wet ingredient with oil in it. And before you put your wet ingredient, if you're making a traditional scone, then you put some raisins. Okay, that's a very important step because as soon as you mixed with your wet ingredient, you want to make your scone, you want to cut your scone and put it in the oven right away. The thing is with the vegan scone, the timing is so important. When the agent, which is baking powder, works with the acid, which was the vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and as soon as they start to work together, you want them to keep that fluffy feeling to it. Okay, here we go. Now we're ready to go. It looks like you don't have enough liquid, but you do. Okay, now we are going to mix them together. I love to work with my dough here because just have this wonderful smell. Okay, do you see the texture? It looks like a very dry dough, but that's totally okay. And I'm going to use my hand. Luckily, I have my glove, so it's not so sticky. Okay, good. We're ready to go. Now I'm going to put on a flat surface. It looks very wet, but that's totally okay. I'm going to sprinkle some of the flour. Here we go. Generously, no problem. Okay, don't be shy. Now we're just going to dump our dough. Oh, guess what? Easily I could use the spatula. Here we go. See the wet dough here? You don't want to overwork your dough. It's totally okay. Like this. Okay. Now, it's very wet. We're going to sprinkle more of the flour on top. Sometimes you think that if it's too wet, you don't have to use all your liquid. Okay, now I kind of make it like a little thick round, but not any shape, it's okay. Because we want to be able to cut in a very high and tall rounds over here, and I can make it a scone shape. Now look over here, we're ready to go. Okay, very quickly. See, I did not really stir for a long time. You shouldn't, otherwise you'll make it really tough and chewy scone instead of flaky. Okay, quickly push down, and here we go. We have our first scone. I'm going to put on my lined baking sheet. Now, the second one, if you're afraid that will stick to your round cutter, then you could always dip into the flour. Dip into the flour. Okay, here's the second one. We'll keep working on it. Keep working on it. Ooh, all right. Ooh, beautiful. Careful with my beautiful scones. Okay, here we go. And you can also gather your leftover dough and make more scones like this. I'm just going to put them together. Again, you don't want to overwork on it. Now, generously sprinkle more flour to it. Here we go. Now, we're ready to cut more. See how high I'm making it? Because we want the scone to be really high up, and then we can break it up when we eat with our jam and Devonshire cream. See that? Okay. I think I have more space or two more. Sometimes I would turn around, see what's like this, and I would turn 90 degree, and that will automatically make shape. I'm going to dip into the flour again. Okay, my 4. This is probably my last one. Okay, turning 90 degrees, cut another one. Ooh, look at that, beautiful. Oh well, this tiny little one, I'm just gonna make a little one for my dog. Who knows? We're ready to put this beautiful tray into our oven. And we'll be back in 10 minutes. Here we go. Hello. Well, while the original traditional scone is baking, so I'm going to show you a variation of one of my favorite flavor. That we'll start over with 2 cups of flour. And all right, there we go. Sugar, baking powder, salt, very easy. Give it a little stir so it's more even. Okay, now I'm going to put in the fat. But remember, I like to use the method of my food processor. So you already know the step. I'm just going to do it in a fast motion. All right, here we go. Oops, I kind of left my thing far away, but that's totally okay. Now remember our coconut oil. We're all going to go in. Okay, here we go. Give it a little process. You would wonder, how do we live without technology, right? Or less convenient appliances? That would be pretty difficult. Nine. It's my lucky number. My lucky 9. There we go. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Sandy texture. Here again. Our bowl. Dump it back to my bowl. And we are ready to go. What is going into this dry ingredient is my freshly chopped rosemary from my garden. Smells so good. And because I couldn't get a fresh blueberry, I got frozen blueberry, which is okay. Okay, now we are going to give it everywhere. Give it a little stir before we add our wet ingredient, which can be a little bit more thorough. Remember, your wet ingredient goes in last. Okay, here we go. We're ready to go. Remember earlier we made some buttermilk? Here we go. Look at that texture, just like a regular buttermilk, but it's vegan. Put it in. Let's see if I have enough. Give it a little stir. Remember, don't want too much, especially now you have the blueberry in it. It's going to turn into a beautiful purple, my favorite color. Do you like color purple? That's my favorite. Okay, I think I have enough liquid to go with. Here we go. Just give a little bit to the bottom. Okay. I think my little cup. And give a little bit more stir. Okay. gently. Don't think I'm pushing it very hard. I'm pushing it. I'm just stirring it very gently. No harsh working either here. This baby of blueberry and rosemary favorite. My favorite. I told you it's my favorite. It's absolutely my favorite. Okay, I work with my fingers now. Whew. I know you cannot smell the rosemary, but I can. Put the flour on top. You can pat it down. Remember, you don't need to work very hard. Look how easy it is. Look how easy it is. And a little bit on the side. Okay, remember, build a small little mass about 1 inch high. So it can come beautiful, beautiful. Okay, here's the cutter. Again, quickly push it down and we'll twist a little bit. Then you can push it up. Okay. Use the tray. I'm going to put it on the tray. Let me show you. Okay, let's do a couple more. I'm finish it off. What am I saying? Not a couple more. All of them. Of course, all of them. All right. Keep going. Keep going. Sometimes I just do it. Aha. There we go. And we're together. Look how beautiful that color is. How beautiful. Okay, I'm going to turn the 90 degree and pat down to the desired height. That's all. Sprinkle a little bit more flour. Don't worry about too much flour. It's never too much flour. This is a wet dough. It's pretty wet. And you want to have that consistency. You want to have a wet dough. You want to have a soft and flaky inside. Okay, now here we go. Look at this. I'm gathering my dough and then turn it to 90 degree and pat it down. Instead of stirring and stirring, I don't want a tough dough here. Go. Almost there. We're almost there. 90 degree. Pat it down. Make my next one. And then my little leftover. I don't want to waste it. It's going to smell and taste good. Okay. So now, let's see. I'm going to put this one in another oven, but then we'll go check on our traditional scone. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. It smells fantastic. Okay, our lovely, lovely scone out of look at this. Wow. Naturally, it will crack like this. It's just so beautiful. What we're going to do is make a little bit of special toppings. Since we don't eat, at least I don't eat eggs. So I'm going to brush on some water and maple syrup and mix a little bit and then brush on my little scone here. And what I do is after I brush it, then I'll put it back into the oven for about 30 seconds to a minute. And sometimes I've been yearning for extra sweet. I will sprinkle some of the crystal, some sugar on top, and let it bake, and it will appear to be a very beautiful crystal on top. You will love it. Pop back to the oven. Hi. Hello, I'm back. Let's check out Scones. It's so lovely. Wow. We're ready to have some tea, don't we? And of course, I'm going to offer this beautiful scone to my cameraman, my lovely cameraman. Okay, well, we're going to enjoy the scone, so you try this recipe, you will love it. Thank you for watching. Bye.